Hola, what's up, everybody? My name's Adrian Garcia. Welcome and welcome back to the Reliable HVACR podcast, brought to you by Jobber, my favorite CRM. If you guys need to get organized, better manage your business, Jobber is a perfect app for that. It's on your phone, it's on your tablet, it's on your computer, anywhere you have internet access, and you can invoice, quote, do your maintenance agreements, schedule jobs, get this customer hub where you can interact with your customers, send out reminders. It does so much for your business to help you free up your time at the end of the day. So if you guys want a free trial and discount, you can go to getjobber.com/reliable HVACR. Then we have VETO Pro Pack. I cannot tell you how many bags that I went through before finding out about this company with these high quality bags. If you guys want some good bags, some good tool bags, and really any bag you can think of, go to vetopropack.com. Ever since I've gotten their bags, they've lasted forever. All of our guys at our company have switched over to them. We've gotten them tool bags, backpacks, you name it, because Veto has it. So ever since I switched over, my bags have lasted so much more. I love the variety and the different uses for these bags. I mean, you can get creative with it. So like I said, go check out vetopropack.com. Go look for a bag for yourself. Right now they're having a spring promo. It's basically buy one get one free, so take advantage of that. You won't regret it. Now if you guys are listening to this on audio podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to it, please leave a 5-star review. I would really appreciate that. If you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, like, and comment this video if you enjoyed it, and I hope you guys are enjoying the podcast. I really love doing this. Great way to meet and talk to a lot of these guys, get their stories out. And I appreciate you guys for tuning in and making this what it is. On this episode, we have several members of the Women Pioneers in Unity. I just want to really quickly say that they are a group of women in the trade. So if you're interested in participating, being part of the group, all of that, please contact them. They will be linked in the description, all that. They are constantly looking for new women of all ages and any trades or any aspects. It's just a nice group supporting, helping one another, all that good stuff. So like I said, reach out to them. I'm going to shut up, let them introduce themselves. And then we're going to sit down with Viola, the youngest member of the group. And then we'll sit down with 2 other members and finish the show out. So enjoy the episode.
I'm Ashley Lianna. I am an HVAC technician out in Southern California, and I am part of Women Pioneers.
Hi, my name is Jess. I'm an electrician from BC, Canada, and I am a part of Women in Pioneer Unity.
Hello, my name is Rose, and I am a welder and a carpenter, and I am part of the Women Pioneers.
My name is Kaya. I'm from New Hampshire. I currently am an HVAC service technician apprentice, and I'm also a part of the group of Women in Pioneers, and I'm so incredibly proud to be. It's an amazing group and organization full of absolutely incredible women, and I'm just super excited to see where my career takes me.
I'm Rachel, a residential HVAC installer from North Carolina, and I'm part of Women Pioneers.
Hi, my name is Sarah McCulloch. I am originally from Toronto, Ontario, but I live in British Columbia, Canada now. I work in the drilling industry as a CPT operator, and I am proud to be a member of Women's Pioneers.
My name is Viola Vargas, and I am 12, almost 13, and I am also a part of the Women's Pioneer, and I am the youngest member in the group. I really like the group. They're very welcoming, and they're very nice. We did do a little meet and greet at a pizza shop back in Chicago whenever they had that expo. So we just met up with a couple of them, and they gave me this t-shirt that I'm wearing right now. So yeah, I wore that today. It's really comfortable. They talk about work, but they don't talk about work a lot. I mean, they do, but not the whole time. It's all about work.
So it's been fun for you. I mean, the support and then just getting to talk to other women in the trades. Mm-hmm. So you are doing HVAC. I know your dad does HVAC and a few other things. He knows how to do things as far as like apartment maintenance and kind of stuff on that end. Why have you been interested in it? Like, is there a reason it piqued your interest, and why you think it's maybe a good idea to learn a trade?
Ever since I was like a baby, I'd always seen him like do stuff around the house or go out to jobs, and I'd always been like very interested about that. And so my first real thing I started to do was just cutting wires with wire cutters, and I do that all the time. And just, I guess until recently, I am much older and I'm much more mature, so I can do a little bit bigger things now.
And what do you like about, like, when you do get to go out and like today you got to go do a coil change and stuff like that? What do you like about actually going and riding along with your dad, as far as like the stuff that you guys are doing?
I like how like he's gentle, and whenever like he teaches me, he's patient, and I just like spending time with him.
And as far as like the work, is it something that interests you, like being able to fix things or solving problems, stuff like that?
Let's say, for example, at the house, and there's like water pressure that needs to be changed. I'm like, I'll do it, so my dad doesn't have to do it, and that I get more experience and more like opportunities to try new things if I haven't done them. But obviously he'll still be there. I just try to take as many opportunities as I can.
I mean, you're still a kid, so obviously you have to have hobbies and other things that you do. And honestly, when you get older and you get into, if you do decide to get into HVAC and the trades, work is great. Money makes the world go round. I mean, you have to have a job, but like I always tell people that you have to have a hobby. So are there any hobbies that you have right now that you're doing, activities, anything like that?
A lot. I do taekwondo, and then for school sports, I do track and field. And I really like soccer, and I play the viola, like the instrument.
From looking at your social media and stuff, it looks like you take these very serious. You practice quite a bit. I feel like you're always doing something.
Like summer, I have a very busy schedule with a lot of tournaments for taekwondo, and just a lot of traveling and a lot of hard work that goes into what I do every day and every week, just repeating itself. So it's just a lot of dedication.
Well, that's awesome. I can tell that you're on a similar path that I did, because I used to be into sports too, heavy on basketball, and I never had a career like when I was older, like college and stuff like that. But I played every day, I practiced every day, and I took it very serious. And what happened is when I got into HVAC, I kind of took that with me, and I practiced every day. I learned more after work. So I can see that your work ethic is probably going to transition over to whatever career you do decide to get into. And if it's HVAC, that's great. You got your dad there to help you out.
Yes.
So are you the one that everybody, or around the house, are you helping fix things here and there now?
Yes. So a couple of months back, I fixed me and my sister's sink, the water pressure, and my sister Kayla, she loves it now. She's like, it's so easy to do my skincare and wash things that like need to be washed. And then I fixed the toilet, and I helped my dad fix our washer and dryer. And that was kind of hard. The washer and dryer, it was kind of hard.
It's always good to be handy though, because like even myself not being that handy when I was a kid, I mean, I like to take things apart and stuff like that, but I never like fixed anything around the house. Later in life, that does help, because you can fix your own appliances, your vehicles, at least the basics, changing the tire, checking things here and there. So that's good. Those are good things to learn and build on later. So yeah, that's really cool that you guys are doing that. And it's good to see you interested in the trade. I don't know if you're going to continue, but if you do, it's a great field to be in.
Yeah, it is. I like this field. It's One of the things whenever like my dad, he will ask me if I want to go with him. I'm like, yes, please take me.
Are you the oldest, the middle, or where are you in your siblings?
I'm the youngest of 6 kids.
Oh, there's 6. You're the youngest out of
Yes.
all of them?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Do any of them pick up any of that too, or like being handy or anything?
Nope.
You're the one that picked it up, the last one.
Yes.
All right,
My
Viola.
sister,
Well,
she'll like get a lot of like furniture. She'll ask me to like help put them together. I mean, she can do it, but like
oh,
she'll
okay.
ask me to do most of it.
So you're very hands-on. You get to work, and you I saw that you had your own tools and everything too already.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. All right, Viola. Well, I appreciate you coming on really quick to introduce yourself, and I think it's great what you're doing, what you're learning, being handy, being helpful, learning a trade, and then this group of women in the trades helping each other out is a great thing. Man, that was interesting. But you know what else is interesting? This podcast is presented by LOKAL. LOKAL works tirelessly to help HVAC contractors rank higher on Google. They use an attack methodology to make sure that contractors dominate their local service areas and increase their market share and generate higher revenue. Reach out to LOKAL at localhq.com/reliable. Mention me or the Reliable HVACR podcast, and you'll get 2 months of SEO for free. We have 2 of the women of the bigger group, the Women Pioneers in Unity. There's how many members are you guys up to?
There's 120 emails on our list.
So that's kind of like because you guys take in anybody that wants to join, right? So like anybody that wants to be a member, get on board. Any women that are out there that are looking for a group to come in, talk. I will get into that a little bit later, but so you guys are over 100 members now.
Yes.
And well, that's pretty good. So like I said, we have two of the members here, Lianna and Ash. Ash Kills has already been on the podcast before, but Lianna has not been. So can you tell us, kind of introduce yourself, like who you are? You already said where you're from, but what kind of work do you do and how many years you've been in the trade?
Of course. Yeah. So I'm Lianna. I live in Akron, Ohio. And I started doing HVAC about 3 or 4 years ago. The pandemic happened, and I was working as a barista, Starbucks, and then I quickly lost my job, got into Home Depot for a little bit, into retail. But during that time, I was freaking out because I think we all were. Like, what kind of jobs are still going to be around? Like, how long is my Home Depot gig going to last? I don't even know. And so, I wanted a skill that, is valuable, will always be valuable, and then I can even take it home and I can still use that skill. So went to school for HVAC. I have an associate, or I'm in the process of getting one, but I'm very close. And then through my school, they recommended me to the job I have now, which is service technician. They started me off in the warehouse, which was really nice because I just got to get a basic introduction of the parts and how the company works. And then from there, they had me ride along for about a year with other techs. And then now I have my own van. I've had it for a little over a year now. I do residential mostly and commercial. So the company that I work for does both, which is really nice. But they keep me wherever I want, pretty much. It's a large enough company where they're flexible with that, but small enough to where it's a very personal relationship with the managers and everybody. So say I want to do commercial, they'll let me help out with other guys. But
so do you have a preference, commercial or residential?
Depends on the day. For the most part, I do like commercial because you can just throw up your ladder, get on the roof and work, and come downstairs, tell them this part's bad, and they're like, okay.
Most of the time they're cool with it because they just want their equipment running.
They want their stuff running, and they don't care if there's if they have to wait a week or 2 weeks. I had one guy tell me, because I was out there and it was -5 degrees, and he was like, "Just come back whenever it gets warmer. Like, don't worry about it."
Oh yeah.
With the part, I was like, "Yeah, sure." So, whereas you guys know residential, like you have to be a bit more delicate.
Yeah, there's customer relationships on both sides. So like I run a business, so I have to keep that in mind because I was not a people person. I didn't like to do that kind of stuff. I would want to get in and get out, do my work and get out. But being in the business to run a business, you got to keep those customers happy, all that. And I know on the residential side, that's an even more like intimate thing because you're in people's homes. They need their cooling and heating, quickly, and they might hassle you for it. Who knows? I've heard a lot of different stories on the residential side.
Yeah, it's fun. And for the most part, like we're a large enough company where we can kind of pick and choose our customers.
You had basically a job before where COVID kind of took that away.
Dude, it shook me. It shook me. Like I was so scared. And and looking back, and all the jobs have come back, so now it kind of is weird, but but no, like for real, like back then we were all freaking out. Like, are we going to be in our houses for forever? Like, what's the economy going to look like? It was scary.
So then, so around your area, was it pretty strict? Like, because over here there was still, I think we closed down for like a week, and then there was still restaurants because it was like drive-through, curbside, stuff like that. So like yours, like there was no like telling when you guys would come back, right?
No, yeah, there was nothing. And there was a long time where they were even talking about like Home Depot, like we're trying to cut our staff, and trying to, in the very beginning, it was very tight. People were losing their jobs and we couldn't leave our houses, and like it was a bit more locked down, I believe, where I was, so.
Yeah, I heard California was the worst too.
Depending on the city. We're the rebel ones, so we're like
in Texas it was like so like we never knew day to day like how strict they were going to be, but I don't know, I've talked to other guys from California and they're like, no dude, or like in their city there was like nothing, like for a while, like everything was shut down completely.
Did you guys have like that hall pass thing, or not a hall pass, but you know what I'm talking about? Like you had to get a paper.
Oh my gosh, I remember them trying to do that. And
they did it here. They did it here.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if anyone. I never got caught, but like but they were saying, you need to have like this paper if you're going to be out and about.
I remember them saying like if you get pulled over, like you better make sure like you have a good reason to be out, and everybody was like, sure.
Yeah, we had the curfew, we had the paper too, we had like basically because that was a whole essential talk, that essential workers.
Yes.
Yeah, so like we had that paper that I forgot where we got it from, but it was essentially the customers we worked for, because we work for a lot of big fast food chains. So they gave us that paper that said that they needed us there because they're, we do their cooking equipment, their ACs, all that stuff. So I had the little paper with me. I never got stopped for it, but like it was such a weird time because obviously like the trades, like we don't shut down. Like I said, we had a few days off, a week off, whatever it was, and then we were out there again because I always tell people the trades make the world go around, right? There would be nothing without any trades, right?
Yeah.
So we were out there relatively quickly, back on our feet to get to work. I went back to work right away. It was weird because all the highways, like my area is real congested now because it's grown so much. It used to be like a small town, but like the roads were dead. It was so weird. It was so nice getting to like places and stuff because I had a lot of calls and stuff, but like it was real easy to get to places now. But like it was just a weird time. But like the trades never shut down. So like I mean, good on you, because you were looking for, like you said, something sustainable that would last you, or like career wise. So HVAC is definitely that.
So I know you do refrigeration. During COVID, you still had lots of calls, like with restaurants being closed and everything. Like you still had steady jobs.
Yeah, that's why I said it only closed down for like a few days because they were not sure of like the rules around like travel and stuff. But after that first week that it happened, they started calling us back, which was a weird time, you know, because you have to be careful, sanitize, mask, everything. But yeah, the freezers go down, walk-in boxes, you know, there's no way they can't get that fixed because that's a lot of product. And I can imagine, you know, like Walmart, stuff like that, like the supermarket stuff. I don't do that, but I do restaurants and fast food chains. Like they were just worried about their product. So like after that week, a lot of them opened up right away for curbside. So curbside was not really a thing around here actually until this whole thing happened. And now everybody's curbside.
It is crazy. It's here forever, probably.
Yeah, and it's here forever. So like they were still open. Like I said, it was nice because the roads were dead. There was nobody on the street. Even going to the restaurant, there was no customers in the building. So it was like weird but nice. And I still did the same work. I was still working on a bunch of reach-ins and walk-in boxes, and I always had work. I didn't even have too much of an issue with payments or checks or anything like that. So it was very sustainable through that whole chaotic time of like people not knowing what the hell was going on. So like that's why I always tell people the trades, it's a career. It is something that just does not go away. I mean, it's always going to be there. I can hear the dogs.
Oh my god! Yeah, it's
loud this morning.
Okay, hold on real quick. Do you guys know who the inventors of the fluorescent leak detection is? Trusted and used by many manufacturers for over 70 years. Well, this podcast is sponsored by SPECTROLINE Leak Detection, the highest quality and brightest fluorescent leak detection products on the market. A2O compatible. Get the job done right with their 2-in-1 premium UV dye and powerful AC sealant Glow Seal. I've actually used it. You can extend the lifespan of your equipment, find and seal the smallest and hardest to find leaks. It works 24/7. Once it's in, it's always on. This product works when you're not there. The only focused leak detection company with success in many industries, because believe it or not, it's in most vehicles out on the road right now. So if you guys want to find out more, go to SPECTROLINE.com and let me know what your favorite leak detection method is. So Lianna, how long have you been in the group?
For as long as it's been around. Lee reached out to me on Instagram. We have the same name, and
yeah, I saw that.
And I noticed that she also did HVAC, so I was super interested in her because and she was doing oil heat at the time, and I kind of wanted to learn more about oil, because where she lives in New York, and so like it's big there, and I kind of and we don't get a lot of oil out here, but still it's kind of nice to know because you will randomly run into an oil furnace out here.
Yeah, I feel very like in my own little bubble because I don't even get a lot of no heat calls. If it gets cold around here, like right now it's like 50-ish, people just crack their windows open because it's like free cooling to them because it's so hot over here all the time. So like we don't do a lot of no heat calls, and then even then everybody's been electrified already. Everything's electric here, which I always say is the worst thing. And I know people tell me the same thing because our grid goes down a lot. We always have no power, and then everything here is electric, so it kind of sucks, but that's the way it is.
Yeah. So do you have natural gas in your area, Adrian, or is it all?
It's like being
propane, or
it's like phasing out, honestly, because even like here, this is an older house. Everything's been converted. There's an electric stove, electric heating. The people that have gas are the people that are trying to hold on to it for that reason when the lights go out and stuff like that.
I see.
And it's not like my parents. I think my parents kept a gas stove. Yeah, but their furnace is electric. Like everything's going electric over here.
That's fascinating. Yeah, I think they're passing laws to like limit it and have people incentivized to be electric and everything like that. But
which, like I said, down here it does not make any sense because our light goes out.
yeah.
When it goes out for a while. So, you know, there's that, and then pushing electric vehicles. Like, I don't get it. Like, we can barely handle what we have right now, and then they want everybody electric everything, right?
Yeah.
I started seeing a bunch of Teslas around here this year.
Oh yeah, finally.
Yeah, I never saw one. Like,
yeah.
And then I finally started seeing them pop up.
You've never seen a Tesla? Excuse
around
me?
here, no. Not till like the last 6 months.
They're everywhere here.
Really?
We have them everywhere. But then you see them lined up for like 2 hours waiting for a stupid battery to charge their car.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
yeah, because I was in the market for a truck. So I bought a truck recently, but I wanted a Ford Lightning. Like, I really was looking into that electric truck.
yeah.
But then I was like, I don't know, like the mileage made sense for me because I do travel an hour or two each way, like for work and stuff like that. So the mileage would have made sense in a day's work. You know, we just have to recharge it every night. But like, I was like, what if I'm low on charge? Like, where am I gonna, you know, charge it on the go? And then like you said, there's probably lines and finding a spot, you know, all that stuff was. I was like, no, I'll just stick to gas. So Ash, have you been with the group since it started too? Or did you come on later?
Lee also reached out, I think, right when you guys started talking about the whole thing and asked if I would help them and be part of the whole thing.
So can you tell us maybe what this group is, essentially what it is for people that don't know, and then kind of tell us, you know, what you guys do?
Yeah. Do you want to go ahead?
Sure. Yeah.
Either one.
It is a group made up mostly of tradeswomen, but we have started opening up, it seems like, to like administrative people as well, office people. But it started off with trades and all trades, electrician, plumbing, pipe fitting, HVAC. We have arborists, or arboriculturists, and trying to think, welding obviously is a big one. So and more. And we twice a month do Zoom meetings where we talk about different like topics. We talk about how our work is going, and it's just a way to get to know each other and hang out. We have a online group chat. If you want to post pictures or ask questions, you can be involved in that. And then we also have a bi-weekly, every other week newsletter that gets emailed out of, you know, our happenings around our group, how you can get involved, and like if there's upcoming conferences or events that we're all going to, we'll advertise it so we can all meet up and stuff.
Do you guys meet up
we all
often?
went to Chicago together. No, not Zoom, but in person whenever there's a conference or whenever we all want to go somewhere. So, like I said, we went to Chicago this year for the HR.
Yeah, I saw you guys up in Chicago. Have you been to AHR before?
No, that was my first time.
Yeah, that was fun.
Oh, that's both of you first time. So like, what did y'all think of it?
It was awesome. It was huge.
Yeah.
There was a lot of like manufacturers there that I've never heard of, and we work with a lot of manufacturers, you know, like I'm surprised there are a bunch I didn't know. So
it is weird because I've done it now for that was my third one in a row. I've gone to the last 3, so like I thought it was weird too because I like you said, you know, manufacturers and even like tool companies, and then like I saw a bunch like press fittings are a thing now, right? Press tools,
they're big.
press fittings.
They're huge, yeah.
And I didn't know that there was like 10 other companies that did it too, and you see them there in the booth trying to like sell you their brand and stuff. And I only know of like maybe 2 or 3, I thought there was only 2 or 3, and there's a lot more.
What do you think of press fittings, like in your trade, like in refrigeration? Do you guys press at all, or?
Yeah, actually, I started pressing most of my walk-in boxes when we do change outs and stuff. We set everything in place, and then we just press our evaporator coil in or whatever it is.
I love that. We have guys that are in my company that are really skeptical of it because they're doing it with refrigeration now. They say that they can hold gas and they want to wait and see, but I don't know. It's been out for years now, and they've been testing them.
RLS what used to be with Parker Sportland. There's a whole story there. I had to talk to both sides of it because they had a messy breakup, but they've been around for a very long time. I don't remember how many years, but
yeah,
they tested those things out in the field before they went to market, right? So like the oldest fitting might be like 15 years old or something like that they have out in the field that they've, I guess, checked on over the years. So like something like that, 10, 15 years, I don't know what it was, but like the fittings were out before they went to market. Like they were testing them behind the scenes, using them out in the field. Like they've already seen how they age and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've never been to the facility or anything like that, but they do like a tour like RLS, and they do show you what it takes to actually pop one of these things. Like they put a tremendous amount of pressure in those, like thousands of PSI. And what ends up happening is the actual line set will burst before the fitting.
Oh, wow. That's incredible.
It's intense. It's crazy. And I was like, okay. So then I got into it talking to the guy from RLS. And then I was like, you know what? I mean, it's beneficial right now that I have the channel, the content that I do and all of that, because I always tell people, because I get questions a lot on tools, manufacturers, stuff like that. And I'm like, well, you know what? I'll try it out, right? I'll try it out. I'll make a video on it, and then I'll report to you guys, in a year or something. So those fittings, I think I've already had some out there for like a year or so. I think I put a lot of them out there before last summer, and I've not had any issues with any leaks. So I'm skeptical on things too until I see it. So like,
yeah,
I was like, F it, I'll try it, put them in. It makes the job easier because, bringing torches up to like a rooftop or dragging them somewhere. I don't know. Do you guys deal with any crawl spaces or any tight areas, where those torches are a pain in the ass,
Yes.
So that's why with the press tool, you just take, I put mine in a VETO bag. So it's just a press tool, a couple jaws, and then like, I go out there with a coupling. And then now the other thing that I saw at AHR was those mini torches. I don't know if you guys saw those.
We did. They're cute.
And everybody in my comments, because I just made a quick little video when I was walking by and talking to the guys there, and everybody's like, "Oh, those won't last." Like, you go through them quick, and I'm like, well, I understand the price point or the issue with the price point, because I think they told me they were like $500 after I looked them up. I finally looked into them, so that's kind of expensive for what they are. But
yeah,
it would be an option, right? Like you're not going to use those every day because you're going to go through those tanks like crazy. But it's the option, because like a lot of us, me myself, getting older, I don't want to be carrying like heavy things around like all day. So that's just, I see it as a good option, just like the press. They're options.
Yeah, I agree.
So then the Women Pioneers in Unity, that was started by the other Lianna, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So do you know, obviously she's not here. I know she gets a little camera shy, but like, well, why did she start this group? If you guys can answer that.
She was here, but no, she really wanted a space for women in trade to be able to talk and kind of vent to each other, because we don't really have too many women, even like in our own little areas. I think most of the girls that we know, like they're like the only girl in their city that like does what they do. So
it's crazy because like when you think of women in trades, you always think of the same, handful, right? And they're doing great things and all that, but there's so many of you. Like you said, you have over 100 members that you guys got in your group. So like, that's really cool, grouping off and being able to help others that are in that, that same space.
Yes. So we all kind of know what we're going through, dealing with companies, dealing with, unfortunately, just other people that like don't see us being in the trade kind of thing. So being able to vent to each other and have a safe space for all of us to be able to talk and communicate and figure out what we can do to help each other out.
So like being in, obviously being a woman in the trade, like have you guys had a difficult entry into the trades, like in the field? Do you guys see that like as a, I guess like an obstacle, like whether it's like with customers, coworkers, anything like that?
Yes. So I've been lucky enough, like the company I'm with, I'm good. But like certain customers, they're still iffy. They're like, "You're the one fixing my thing?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm the one
They still
that's
make
here."
a big deal about it?
Yes, they still will. And like I've said before, surprisingly, it's older women. For whatever reason,
What?
they're just so iffy about like, yeah.
That's so
But
interesting. Yeah.
I know. And then I get all the time, like if the guys are the ones that are home, they're like trying to help me carry my stuff. And I'm like, I'm good. I do this every day. I'm about to do this after you too. So like, I'm fine. Thank you though. But when you sit and think about it, like Adrian, has anybody ever tried to help you move your ladder?
No, I don't get any sort of help from anybody.
Like I appreciate it.
If anything, yeah,
I appreciate it too.
I work in kitchens and stuff like that. If anything, people are stepping on me. So like it's a little different.
They're like, move, you're in my way.
Yeah, they don't care about me.
And we do have a lot of girls that have been telling us it's been difficult for them to find a job because they're looked down upon. You know, some of them are only 110 pounds and have to work on heavy refrigerant and commercial stuff. And they look at them like, how are we going to hire you if we don't know if you can carry like the equipment you're supposed to carry?
You have to prove yourself, really. Like if you get in, you're under like a little like skeptic, like a little microscope or whatever.
Yeah.
You're looked at for a long time before you earn respect. And we think it's probably not true with the men. You know, like men will get hired. Probably.
No, unfortunately, it's still very different. So
it is what it is.
Yeah, how has it been for you? Like, did it take a while for you to get the trust of your coworkers and all that?
A little bit, but luckily, I'm very fortunate. They put me in the warehouse first because that was my way. That was my way of kind of proving I can lift. And I was delivering parts to guys, so I kind of did that role where like if you had a part and it was far away, and I'd pick it up, bring it to you, or if it was at the shop, I'd pick it up and bring it to you. And all the guys kind of interacted with me that way, and kind of saw this little girl hopping in out of her 20-foot box truck and giving them their stuff, so they saw.
I will say, as long as you get them the right part, you're fine, because like that's the thing I hate with supply houses, and I made a meme about it. I had so many people respond to it, like, yeah, like when you get the wrong part by the counter person. I hate that. And I always go now with like a picture, the part number, like everything. And I'm like, it's this one specifically, please. Because they always want to get like the model, serial number, like all the stuff. And I'm like, no, I know what I need. I was like, I know what I need. Just give me the part. Like,
yeah, I've made that mistake before. I've ordered it just off the model serial, and you make that mistake once.
Well, yeah, that's a learning curve too. So like there are things that you have to get into, like you said you were like 3 years in now, right? So like there's a huge learning curve there, because that's a lot of information to take in. It is good that you got into the parts warehouse part of it first, because you understand all that first before you got in the field, because I had the difficulty of it being the other way around, right? I got into service right away. I would see a bad part, like I would diagnose it correctly, figure it all out. And I'm like, I need this, right? And I go to the supply house and they're like, what do you mean this? Like a TXV or whatever it was. Like, you know how many different kinds we have? Like they would get after me and stuff. And I was like, oh shit, I'd never make that mistake again. And I've had that issue where, a part for a certain unit could be like several variations, of it and all that. So like if you can, obviously take the part with you. I've done that plenty of times just so that they know what I'm talking about. But like, get a part number, Google right now is like so awesome, because you can look up part numbers, breakdowns, manuals, everything. So like I do all that before I go to the part house, or I'll look on their website because locally I use Johnstone and they have a really good app, fortunately. So like I can look up their stock, look up everything that I need to, and then just kind of like screenshot it, send it over, or order it online and all that. So like that was a big deal for me, is like I had to deal with that a few times, you know, going to the supply house, not knowing anything, getting getting, you know, scolded there, and you know, waved off, like, you know, come back when you got the right information, kid, and all that stuff. So like I've dealt with it.
Rude. That's so rude on their end, because then you tell them exactly what you need and they still get you the wrong thing. So it's like, so who's in the wrong?
It still happens. It still happens because I go in there and I'll get my part now or whatever, and then somebody gets off the phone and then they just start talking like, can you believe this guy? Like, what, he doesn't have a part number, this and that. Like they still, it's still a thing.
Yeah.
They talk there at the counter. So.
Oh my gosh. Luckily, all my supply houses are nice and they know me now, so they're just like, yeah, you're good.
Oh, that's the other thing, because that whole meme that I made about the counter people, like it was because I've been going through all these new guys now. Like they've been hiring new guys like crazy, like replacing them. And I hate that, because like I get to know everybody, right? That's another thing, is the relationships you make with either a manufacturer, a dealer, or your supply house. And then like you get to know them, and then like I would go in there, you know, they would already know who I am, my account, like they would already bring it up and everything. And then every time they get a new like staff, like a new counter, it's like, okay, what's your name? Who are you? And this and that. And I'm like, I have to do this all over again. Like, all right. So
like I was just here yesterday.
I was like, I never have to introduce myself. But yeah, it's a weird thing when they go through that, you know, replacing people. I don't know. It's lately they've been hiring a lot of like kids and stuff. So I've had to deal with that. Yeah. That was my own little rant right there.
Yeah. The kids these days.
So I think I started in my early 20s, but like going to school, and then like mid 20s, late 20s is when I really got into it. And I've had people that ask me all the time, like, is this age too old, or this age? Like, and they're talking like 30, 40. And I'm like, no, like if this is a career that you want, just do it. Right. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it might be difficult to get a job at first, like you said. Just depends on the area. People ask me about that around here, and I always tell them, like, especially with pay, I mean, that's another big issue I guess people have, is they want to know what they're going to get paid, and they want to make big bucks right away. I always tell them, at least here, it's a low market area, so like everything's cheap here, cost of living, all that kind of stuff. So you're not going to make a lot of money in my area. And then like I always tell them, if you get into a company, sometimes it's worth just getting the experience, right? And then you can move on to another company if you need to. Because if a company treats you well, trains you well, gives you good experience and work experience, like that's a value in itself. So sometimes you do have to move. Like I've been offered and told that if I go up north, like to Houston, San Antonio, like I'll make big money, but I like the area that I'm in, so I'm never going to move. But that's a whole other thing. Are you guys actively looking for more people to join?
Yes, we're always trying to scout girls out. We're going through Instagram, trying to go through hashtags, like trying to find more people to just come in and talk and join and see how their work is like in their area. We have a lot of girls from Canada too. So we've recently learned that Canada has like their own like schooling or sponsorship stuff that they do, where after high school, like if you want to get into the trades, I think it's like a free program, right? That they can go.
I think so.
Like,
yeah, there's something. There's either they have a lot of programs, or there's laws in effect there.
Yeah.
But just or I mean, I don't know, maybe it's the air. Like a lot of women there are in the trades.
Yeah. It's
and
really
it's totally
cool
normal for them. Yeah.
Yeah. Getting a lot of girls.
So then can anybody reach out to you guys and join the group?
Yeah, definitely. So especially on Instagram, they can definitely message us on there. That's something we're all kind of logged into and can see. They can always email us too. What's the email?
womenpioneersinunity@gmail.com.
Okay, I'll put all that in the description so people. I just want to make sure people know that they can go look for you guys. So they're going to look for you on Instagram, and then they can email you as well. And then they can be part of the meetings, the Zoom calls, all that stuff.
And it's very low key. Like, I think a lot of people think, you have to join and like participate like a normal group.
Yeah.
But it's free to join. We don't keep track of like how often you participate. We don't ask for anything. And a lot of girls, they'll log in and they're like cooking dinner, and that's it. That's all they do the whole time.
Okay.
And if they want to talk, they can. Or sometimes they'll put stuff in the chat, or sometimes they just listen. We've had girls just be on mute the whole time.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing that because I've been in little groups here and there talking about like other stuff, whether it's HVAC, business related, or content stuff. Like, I always tell people, like, it's always good for people to get together and kind of share experiences or help each other out. So I like that you all are doing that, because, or like I was saying, like, even in the groups that I've been in, even if the person doesn't, like you said, participate, they might need to hear something, or they might need to just kind of sit in and see what's going on and just be more aware, right? Because like the whole thing with my podcast as well, like when I don't know how I ended up here, but like I just like to talk to people and get to know their stories and stuff, because everybody has their own unique story, their different way that they got into the trades and kind of like what they've been through. But even though everybody's is unique, there's somebody out there that relates to that, right? Or a part of your story or something like that. So like this whole group that you guys have, like, even if, like you said, they don't have to be, they can be doing something else, multitask, whatever it is. They can listen. Maybe they can join because there might be a part that they have something to say about, or they just don't say anything at all and they need to hear it or see what's going on out there. So I like that.
Yeah, I've seen that too. Like, so we'll come up with some questions like before the Zoom meeting to just try to get like engagement and stuff. So let's just say we had one question last week and one of the members wanted to answer and one was quiet the whole time, but hearing her answer to that made the other one chime in and be like, oh, I had a similar experience like that. So just having them like relate to each other, even if we're in separate fields, like she can be an electrician and the other one can be a plumber, but that story like will resonate with both of them. So it's really nice to hear when they like all end up talking and stuff. But yeah, it's totally chill. Like our Zoom calls, like you can have it like podcasts, like set your phone down and put your headphones in and just listen in.
So like, do those get pretty chaotic? Like how many members end up on a Zoom call?
We had one a couple of weeks ago. I think it was like 15 of us all just kind of like
there was a lot. That was we were celebrating Ashley's birthday, and
oh, that's right, happy belated birthday.
I don't even remember what the topic was, but we were advertising that we were gonna do shots for her birthday.
Yeah, and so a lot of us were drinking.
I think, yeah.
So it's just a good time. I mean, there's no obligation, there's no set roles, anything like that. Just come hang out. A bunch of women in the trades, like you said, it's open to basically anything at this point. Different trades, different positions, titles, whatever it is. So that's good, because even when I've done stuff, because I do the whole HVAC nights, I do other stuff that I've been trying to kind of group people together, and I get on my end, the guys, I get to ask like, can a manufacturer join in and join in on the fun and this and that? I'm like, sure. I mean, you're in the trades, like it's all the same. Yeah. So I mean, that's good.
Yeah, we do have one girl that builds systems, right? We had one, I think she got a little quiet because she works so much, but I think she's out in the States, and she and her husband like build package units. So like,
really?
They're called UKT, and they're big in like Europe right now. They're like they call it single hole technology. They gotta come up with a new name, but basically, it's no ductwork. And I don't know, it's like a P-tack, but they're small. They're really small. They're little hole, and that little hole does like air both ways. So you can have your air going across the evap air. I'm not quite sure how it works, but
it's interesting because you you have it open. Like, I hope you guys, get more members, and build it up to something more. But like, that's the interesting part. You get to know these people that do. So there's so many different little corners of the trade that people can like kind of, corner in and get specific with. So like something like that, like there's a bunch of stuff that people do that I've never even known that's a thing or something like that. So like, it's interesting to get to know people like that. Since I've had Ash, I haven't had Lianna on here. What is your favorite part of HVAC? Like, why did you, I don't know if you picked HVAC specifically for any reason or anything like that, but what is your favorite thing? Like, why do you do HVAC?
Oh man. It's it's definitely a lot of learning that it involves science, it involves physics. It's a very complicated trade where you're always using your brain. Not that all the other trades don't use their brains, but that one seemed the most complicated of all of them. I remember working when I used to live in Wisconsin, working at a hotel. I worked for a hotel for 5+ years. And like the number one thing that was always breaking was our air conditioning. Granted, we had like cheap P-tax, right? And we had a pool unit, a pool dehumidifier, and like that would always break. And like the HVAC company we called, was always saving the day and always there. And it just kind of fascinated me because it wasn't as simple as, like the water's leaking or like, we need to replace simple parts. It was very complicated fixes. And I just felt like, at the time that it would be a lot to learn and I would be most fascinated with it. I also did environmental studies in college. So HVAC plays a huge role in the environment and emissions and stuff. And I felt like that could I could integrate that into my roles. But that's it. That's the only reason. Same thing with Lee. We both we don't have any family in it. It was just something we chose on our own, and we relate to that sometimes because it's like I don't per se have close relatives who did this. I have no one that inspired me per se. It was just sort of interest, and for me, it was fear.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it's just something that sparked your interest that you saw out there.
Yes.
Because like a lot of the repairs, which I have, I mean, it's part of the whole stuff that I post as far as like memes and all that. Because the ones that always come, running to the comments and all that is the homeowners are like, oh, that's a cheap fix, a simple fix, stuff like that. I'm like, no, not really. Like, yeah, like there's usually a whole procedure that you guys have to do, right? I mean, if it's electrical, that's kind of on the simpler side, but even then you got to trace down some stuff. But like,
yeah, that's fascinating. Homeowners can dabble in plumbing, they can dabble in electricity, they can dabble in carpentry, but like there's something about HVAC. It's harder to get your hands into it.
Most of them can just replace the thermostat and the capacitor at the most, and even then, I told them be careful with that.
Be careful with that cap. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think somebody in my comments I finally had somebody who actually got a little shock out of it, but they were working on something for their RV and they said it had a cap and all that. And they're like, learn the hard way that those things can still shock you when the power's off. I'm like, yeah, be careful. But like usually a repair, once you get into it, there's recovering, there's vacuuming, there's like the brazing, all this other stuff that we have to do. And I wouldn't trust a homeowner repair most of the time, right? Like like later, you're gonna call me like a year later, or 6 months later, whatever it is, because you didn't vacuum that or you didn't do something like miswired, something happened,
Especially with those DIY mini splits now.
I hate
Are people
those.
doing that? Are people really doing that?
Yeah, isn't it like Mr. Cool and something else? There's a couple of brands that like are advertised that you can do them. I actually took a picture when I drove up to Houston to see the guys up there. There's like it looks like an open flea market in like a parking lot, and they had mini splits for sale, and they had a deal. It had a big sign and everything, buy your own mini split. So yeah, that's the thing. I mean, they're simple to put in.
Wait, really?
Yeah, people put them in.
I guess
themselves.
if you have a short line set, you can do it
Yeah.
by yourself.
Like,
You don't need to charge it.
no,
Well, you still
most
need to
most
like vacuum them and everything, but nobody, if it's a DIY, they won't. They'll
I
just
was gonna say,
put it
like, do you
together.
think they're vacuuming their own systems?
No.
No. No,
What
because
this is so fascinating, really.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and even in my comments, that's where I learn a lot too, like from other places, is like some people will do the mini split thing, right? Because they just want to cool a room, right? They just drill a hole, run the line set, connect them, probably don't vacuum, and then run it.
Mm-hmm.
I've always told people that HVAC can be a little forgiving, right? You can get something working. It might not work right. It might not work efficient. It might not last, but it'll work right when you put it in, right? If you don't vacuum, I've seen it firsthand. If you don't vacuum, you don't purge nitrogen, it works. But like
Yeah.
a couple months later, something, clogs up or whatever it may be, you got moisture in there, things will happen. The system won't last as long. That's what I always tell people. So it is forgiving. That's why homeowners, love to do their own thing. But I've actually heard of people, and I always have to ask them, like, can you clarify, right? Did you vacuum? Did you do all this? They're like, I changed my own I changed my own condensing unit. I did this, but then like a lot of them have a relative that does it. So then they borrowed equipment or something like that. I'm like, okay, don't come in here in my comments and like let every homeowner think that it's like as simple as this, right? You had the equipment or you had a relative help you out. So there's some that don't tell the whole story, and I always have to ask them. Yeah. So yeah, it's a thing.
Like, yeah,
I'm actually getting
the homeowner can do it, but they got to spend what, a good $2,000 on equipment too to be able to do it themselves.
The right way, yeah.
Yeah.
And some people are mechanically inclined. I've always said that. I mean, I work on my own car, but to a certain point, right? I work on my own house to a certain point. After that, you call a professional. We all can't be like Ashley over here. You're doing a whole remodel and stuff too.
She's building a little chicken mansion. Yeah.
Oh, that's what that was?
Yeah. Yes, my chickens need a new home, so.
See, and that's the whole thing that Lianna was talking about. Like this trade, you learn so much, right? And I'm not saying that's why you did that, but like in this trade, it made me a little more mechanically inclined where I work on my car now, because I wouldn't before. I would kind of dabble in it a little bit, but I've changed out radiators. I've changed out line sets for the cooling, the air conditioning in the cars. I've done so much under the hood of my car because I felt more comfortable after being in HVAC.
Yeah.
Same thing with around the house and stuff like that.
That's interesting. For me, the getting into the trades, it actually really taught me to appreciate professionals. Because before, like for me before, I was like, I think I can do this. I think I can do that. But really, like becoming a professional, it taught me like there's stuff that they can do better, that they're more equipped to do, that they went to school for. And I've actually appreciated paying a premium just to have a professional do stuff.
Yeah, I guess I'm like that too. Like it makes you see the other side, right? Like why do they charge so much? Why this or why that? Yeah. And
stuff is
then,
expensive, and it's for the service. It's because they have it. They can do it quicker. They have the materials. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, I've always been a person that likes to try things. So like, yeah, there's plenty of things that I could probably do, but it's gonna look like crap, or it's gonna look like not clean, not good.
Yeah.
So I get it,
That's another thing with the group chat too. Like I bought a fixer-upper, so there's plenty of things that I need to do. Like there's a freaking hole up there that you can see electrical. I don't know where it goes, but having the group chat and having electricians in the chat, I can message one of them and be like, hey, can you help me? Can I video chat you real quick? Like, do you mind helping me with this? Like, this outlet's not working for whatever reason. So being able to rely on some of the people in the chat is really nice too. And everyone's so helpful to be able to like help and stuff. I've had some girls even offer to come up here and be like, I'll come up for the day and help you with whatever you need. I'm like, cool, I'll make you dinner. Like, let's trade.
That's awesome. Yeah, I didn't think about that because you're in the group anyway, and you have all these trades. You can actually help each other out in other aspects. Yeah.
Yes,
cool.
we just had one of our girls was in an Airbnb. She wanted to change the air filters in the Mini, so we all the HVAC girls got in there and like, yeah, this is how to do it.
That was hilarious.
Y'all got on a Zoom call thing to walk her through it or anything?
So
it was a bunch of photos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We
You
have
did it the hard way.
WhatsApp chat, so we can all kind of chit chat on there. So she started sending videos and photos, and everyone started jumping in and talking. So it's always fun.
That was a hoot. Yeah. And those carrier minis, they're with the filter on top.
Yeah, I learned that minis can have filters on the top side now instead of right on the inside.
I think Carrier does that. I don't know who else does that, but Carrier is one of them.
Interesting.
Annoying.
Yeah.
They hate short people.
What kind of equipment do you work on a lot?
So we're a Carrier distributor, like or licensed whatever distributor for them. But we obviously work on anything, everything. We're trying to get into VRF a lot. We have been for a while, and with VRF we do Mitsubishi, Samsung, LG, and others, I'm sure, but that's up and coming. And our company has like internal, like, are these great? Do these suck?
Your little notes and things like on things.
Yeah.
we used to see a lot of Train. I got used to those. Carrier is a big one now. Everybody seems to have Carrier now. We don't really sell or do new installs. I just do service mostly, so it's whatever I come across. But like I used to see a lot of Train, RTUs, now Carrier, and Daikin, because everybody's going a little cheaper now. So I'm starting to see a lot of Daikin ones. And with Johnstone and everything too. But the one that gave me like the scare was the Lennox, because a Lennox RTU, I don't know, I opened it up. I've never seen like that many compressors, all the wiring, all the boards.
Yeah.
So like early in my career, like a few years in, like I got one of those, and I was like, and I got lucky enough that a previous company went in there and cut everything, wire nutted some stuff together, and that took me like a whole week to fix all their ACs because I had to trace every little wire. Learning experience for sure.
It is. The other day I ran into a Train Voyager for the first time. Have you?
Oh, I think I've seen one.
It's that circular burner thing. And I guess their igniter is their flame sensor, I guess, or something like that. And it was very it scared me for the first time, but
hey, you see something new every day in this trade. So that's what I love about it, is the variation of it, of the equipment, especially doing refrigeration. Like I work on something different every day. So that's what I love about it.
Absolutely.
Every call can be something different too.
It can.
Completely different. Yeah.
Yeah, except if you talk to Jake from my HVAC night group, he's always complaining. It's always an ECM motor that I'm replacing. I'm tired of doing them. He does a lot of residential in Florida, and like he's like, I don't even want to record anymore. Every video I do is just the ECM motor.
That's how I felt with all my heat calls right now. I was like, here's another inducer.
Sometimes it's like that.
Yeah. I was like, oh, it's different. This one's an RTU. This one was in the garage, and this one's in the attic. So it's still a little different.
Hey,
that's incredible.
We need more content anyway, right? Like I told him the same thing, or others that say that. I'm like, just put it out there. If you're gonna be a content creator, if you're gonna be on Instagram, post it. Somebody will see value in it, right?
Or someone new will see it that didn't see the other one. So you never know who's going to see it.
There are so many new, like young techs out there that I've had, that I've gotten a chance to talk to, which is weird because I thought the same of my content at one point. I was like, why am I doing this? Like, I don't know. I didn't think it was that good. And then like the messages come in like, oh, this video helped me with this. I love your videos. It inspired me, motivated me. Like that's the reason I keep posting.
I love it. Yeah.
And it's great. I mean, that's why I always tell people, get into it, start posting, even if it's like filter changing, whatever it is, whatever your job is, somebody out there is doing the same thing.
Yes. Or wants to do the same thing too.
Yeah, I just want to see how cool HVAC is, right?
Yes.
It is cool. It is indeed cool.
Yeah, like you said, different aspects of it, because there's electrical. I mean, people always state electrical, plumbing, and then there's HVAC, right? There's refrigeration, a sequence of operations. There's so much that goes into it. It's a lot to learn, but it's fun.
And we all have to learn this new refrigerant that's coming out.
I heard is it the R?
It's R454B for everybody except Daikin, Goodman. Daikin, they're doing R32, I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's the other one, R32.
Yeah, they
which I heard is just basically like 410 pressure wise and all that, so it shouldn't be too bad.
Right.
I'm still over here on 404 and 410, so I don't know. We're always the last to get that down here, the new stuff, the regulations. I probably won't see it anytime soon, because like in refrigeration, R290 is the thing, right? The propane based refrigerant.
Okay.
That's been out for a few years. I barely saw it recently, like this last year. And
oh shit.
Yeah, I didn't get to work on it because it was under warranty, and whoever sold it to them just took care of it, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, like one of these days I'll get to work on it. There's a whole like nothing's, because I've talked to some guys that are going to be on the show soon, like Tony from Field Piece, Craig Migliaccio. They're the ones that do the educational content, right? So and even Ty Brenneman, I've seen him post about it. Like, they want to make sure that everybody knows, if you're doing the right practices, if you're doing everything the way you're supposed to be, nothing changes for you. You just have to be more aware of what it is that you're putting in. But like if you're doing your purging, your vacuum, your everything, you're fine. And that's true. It's not much of a difference. The A2L talk is not the end of the world. You know, it's just, we got to go through it. We got to go through it. Yeah. So we're already going to hit an hour. I don't want to keep you all too long. So I'll leave everything, like I said, in the description to follow you all on Instagram, the group. There's also like a podcast playlist you guys have, right?
We do. Yeah.
So that's where anybody, well, what is a podcast playlist? Is it just like when you guys have been on other podcasts?
Yes, so a lot of our members, 3 of them have their own podcast.
Oh, okay.
So we update that playlist, so it's always their latest episode. And then if we're featured in podcasts, those episodes will be on there as well.
Okay, I need to link that too, because I came across it. I wasn't sure if any of the members had their own podcast, but they are in there.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, I'll leave all that in there. I don't know if there's anything you guys want to close out on before we get out of here.
Just anybody who's out there that wants to you don't even have to be in the trade, but you want to start getting information to get into the trade, you're more than welcome to come in and see what it's about. Message any of the girls that are on there. You want to look at HVAC, you want to look at plumbing, you want to be an arborist, like everyone is in there. There's something. You want to go into the office type thing. We have some girls that work in the office. You know, there's everywhere. We have something for anyone and everyone. So if you know somebody that's trying to get into this, you know, your little sister that maybe would want to dabble into some kind of trade stuff, like send them over. You can message both of us on our personal Instagrams if you don't want to like message the actual page, but we both run the page as well for the Instagram. So anywhere you want to send a message, we're always happy to respond.
Yeah, I second that.
That's nicely put. I will close out on that. The Women Pioneers in Unity. I appreciate you all for coming on, Ash and Lianna.
Yes.
And
thank you.
Thank you for coming on and making the time.
Yes, thank you so much.
So anybody watching and listening, I appreciate you all for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.